This week, our Dharma Talks are a continuation of the first part of the semester, which is the history of yoga. And I've really been enjoying preparing for these Dharma Talks because I've had a chance to dig into some books that sit on the shelf a lot, like the Sutras and the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and some other books I got in India, and some special reading that it's not part of my regular practice. And so I've really enjoyed looking and remembering how old this practice is and how it's been passed on from teacher to student, and as well really looking at the sutras again and reading just the beginning of the sutras. This Sunday we read the first 3 sutras, and just remembering that this practice is about being able to control and to focus and direct our mind and to make choices around our own mental health. And I love this. I've studied psychology and has pursued that in college and graduate school, and it's so interesting and reminds me of my passions to come full circle back around and say, I've devoted my life to teaching this practice, to doing this practice for a lifetime, and my passion for mental health, all really coming together. That is what yoga is about. I know we use the asana as a vehicle, and sometimes the asana takes us away from really putting our intention in coming to our mats again and again to quiet our minds, to know thyself svadhyaya, and to have that discipline to take the mind where we want it to go. So I'm just going to finish this little teaser video, which I always hope if you watch this that you might be interested in watching the full teaching. But I'm happy either way. Whatever you get from this brings me joy as well. But I did share a couple quotes from Yogananda, who was one of our first teachers here in the West that brought yoga all over the world. There's self-realization centers all over the world. There's 100 of them. We have one in Encinitas, but his teachings are so simple and so beautiful. And I'm going to share one of them with you that also reminds me of my favorite quote that I use all the time from an epic poem back in the 1600s by John Milton, Paradise Lost. Really the same message. The message that as I dig into old books and look at and start to reread the history of yoga, just really realizing this is why we're here. The first quote by Yogananda: "If you permit your thoughts to dwell on evil, you yourself will become ugly. Look only for the good in everything, so you absorb the quality of beauty." I love that. And of course, Paradise Lost, John Milton, this famous quote that has withstood the test of time and still today is so relevant to us in 2024. "The mind is its own place, and in itself can make heaven of hell, a hell of heaven." So I just want to encourage all of you this week to join me in my new ritual, which is putting our hands over our hearts before we say the invocation, and just to pause and have a moment of gratitude for your body, for the practice, for your incredible, miraculous mind, and to remember why we begin our sun salutes and standing poses and seated poses and breathe, is to quiet our mind and to know ourselves and to direct our minds so that we can, every day of our lives, take this practice into the other 22 hours and create a life that is a heaven, and look towards beautiful thoughts and making ourselves and this world more beautiful.